Namaste, and a very warm welcome to you all. Have you ever imagined that the structure of your salary slip, which you have been looking at for years, could completely transform in a single day? Did you know that a new law has the power to double your retirement fund, although it might slightly reduce your monthly take-home cash? November 21, 2025. This date is set to write a new chapter in the corporate and employment history of India. Today we are going to talk about a change that will directly affect the life of not just the HR departments of companies, but every single employee, every worker, and every professional. The subject is the new unified definition of wages or salary under India's new labor codes. The confusion of different laws that has persisted for centuries is about to end, and a standardized system is about to be placed before us. Its purpose is not just legal compliance, but to prepare a strong social security net for every employee. Today we will dive deep into this topic without the burden of legal jargon and understand how this new system is going to make your future secure. Employment laws in India have had a long history, from the Payment of Wages Act of 1936 to the Minimum Wages Act of 1948. We had 29 different central labor laws. The biggest problem was that the definition of wages was different in every law. Wages for Provident Fund were something else, for gratuity something else, and for ESI something else entirely. Taking advantage of this confusion, salary structures were often designed in such a way that basic pay was kept low and allowances were increased so that statutory liabilities remained low. But now all of this is about to change. The government has merged these 29 laws to create 4 new codes: the Code on Wages 2019, the Industrial Relations Code 2020, the Code on Social Security 2020, and the Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020. The foundation of all 4 codes rests on a single definition: wages. This is a unified definition that will apply uniformly across the entire country in every industry. This will have a direct impact on your PF, your gratuity, and your in-hand salary. Come, let us understand this new definition like a story, step by step. According to the new law, the calculation of wages is now based on a simple formula, which we can divide into 3 parts: inclusions, what is included; exclusions, what is outside; and provisos, the conditions. First, let's talk about inclusions. There are 3 things that will now always be considered part of your wages: basic pay, dearness allowance, DA, and retaining allowance. These 3 components are the bedrock of your salary, the foundation that no one can shake. Come what may, these 3 together form your core wage. Now let's come to the exclusions. The law has given a list of 11 such components that will generally not be considered wages. These include house rent allowance, HRA, conveyance allowance, statutory bonus, the value of house accommodation, overtime allowance, commission, gratuity, and retrenchment compensation. It sounds similar to what has been happening so far, right? Keep allowances out of wages and save on PF. But this is where the big twist lies, a rule that will prove to be a game changer. We call this the 50% rule, or the first proviso. This rule states that if your total exclusions like HRA, bonus, conveyance, commission, etc. exceed 50% of your total remuneration, then that excess amount, meaning that extra money, will be added back into wages. This means that now no company can create a salary structure where basic pay is only 20% or 30% and everything else is allowances. Let's understand this with an example. Imagine there is an employee named Anjali. Anjali's total monthly salary is 1 lakh rupees. Her basic pay and DA together amount to 40,000 rupees. But her allowances, HRA, conveyance and bonus combined are 60,000 rupees. Under the old rules, her PF would be deducted only on 40,000 rupees. But under the new 50% rule, the government will see that her allowances are 60,000 rupees, which is more than 50%, that is 50,000 rupees of a total salary 1 lakh rupees. How much more? 10,000 rupees more? So now these 10,000 rupees will be deemed or considered as part of a basic pay. For the new wage calculation, Anjali's base will not be 40,000 but 50,000 rupees. What will be the impact of this calculation? The direct effect is that Anjali's Provident Fund contribution and gratuity calculation will now be on 50,000 rupees. This will make her long-term savings, her retirement fund, and her social security very strong. This is a very powerful step to secure the future of employees. Yes, a short-term effect of this could be that since the PF contribution has increased, the take-home salary received at the end of the month might be slightly lower. But if we look at the broad picture, this money isn't going anywhere. It is being secured for your own future. There is another incredibly beautiful and encouraging aspect to this definition, which often escapes people's notice. This is the definition of wages for gender parity or gender equality. The law says that when it comes to equal wages to all genders or paying wages on time, the definition will change. For these specific purposes, HRA conveyance and overtime will also be considered part of wages. The logic behind this is very thoughtful. Think about it. If a company hires a man and a woman for the same job, they pay both the same basic pay, but give the man more money in the name of conveyance allowance. If the old definition were in place, this wouldn't be caught. But according to the new definition, when we check for discrimination, we will add HRA and conveyance and check. This ensures that discrimination is not done against anyone under the guise of allowances. This law is not just about numbers, it is about dignity and equality. Another important aspect is remuneration in kind, meaning wages in the form of goods or services. Many times companies give employees facilities instead of cash, like expensive flats, cars, or meal coupons. The new law says that the value of these facilities will also be considered part of wages, but up to a limit. This limit is 15% of the total wages. If the value of the facilities is up to 15%, they will be added to wages. This rule brings transparency and ensures that at least 85% of the salary is received by the employee in cash or via bank transfer, so that their liquidity is maintained. Now, you might be thinking, what impact will this have on employers and companies? With the deadline of November 21, 2025 approaching, this is the time for compliance audit for companies. Companies where salary structures were heavy on allowances will now have to restructure. They will have to update their payroll software so that they can handle this complex calculation. The definition of worker is also linked to this wage limit. If a supervisor's wage goes above a set limit after this calculation, they might fall out of the worker category, which will impact their job security and union rights. There has also been a major change in the rules for gratuity, especially for fixed-term employees. Previously, 5 years of continuous service were necessary to receive gratuity. But now, under the Social Security Code, fixed-term employees will have the right to receive gratuity on a pro-rata basis after just 1 year of service. This is good news for millions of people who work on contract and were often deprived of their rights because they didn't complete 5 years. So friends, as we have seen, this new definition of wages is not just a mathematical adjustment. It is a fundamental shift from an employer discretion model to a rights-based framework. Where previously employers had the freedom to mold the salary structure to reduce liability, now a floor has been set. The 50% rule is a protective shield that ensures that a large part of your hard-earned money is mandatorily saved for your future. The core message of this entire change is just this: financial security and transparency. The government wants every employee in India, whether in a factory or an AC office, to have a respectable corpus when they retire. This rule will compel companies to remain transparent regarding compensation. Yes, change always feels a bit difficult. A reduction in take-home salary might pinch in the beginning, but when you see your increased PF and gratuity with the power of compounding, you will understand the true strength of this rule. In conclusion, I would just like to say that November 21, 2025 is not just a date, it is a new beginning. The beginning of an era where the law cares for both your pocket and your future. As an employee, it is important for you to be aware. Look at your new salary slip carefully, understand what the ratio of your basic and allowances is. If you are an employer, then this is the time to be proactive, so that you not only follow the law, but also win the trust of your employees. Because ultimately, a secure and happy workforce is the foundation of a strong nation. These new labor codes are an effort to make that foundation even stronger. Do not keep this information to yourself, discuss it with your colleagues and friends, because knowledge is the power that empowers us.